Okay. Is it happening? Oh, I forgot to button one of my buttons. Oh my goodness, how rude. Oh, now it's like that button's too high. Oh well. Hey everybody. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. It's Wednesday. It's an after dark. It's dark outside right now. What's been happening today? Looks like possibly the rumors about Amazon buying AMC were a trap, way to get people trapped in options. Don't quite know. Then articles came out saying, no, get Cinemark. They're way cheaper and almost as big. So, I don't know. I have no idea what's happening with that. I'm sure if a deal's made, we'll see it. Either way, Cinemark at 7 or 8 cents might be a screaming deal. If that's the case. Also, so I don't know if you are aware, Ron DeSantis was mad that Disney is not homophobic and transphobic. So he decided to destroy the Reddy Improvement District, which is sort of Disney's self-governing city inside of their park. And they're their own tax structure and everything. So he decided, he's like, hey, I'm going to take that away from you and you guys can't do whatever you want anymore. And Disney's like, that's a dumb idea because you're going to be shoveling like $1 billion in tax burden and bonds onto the citizens of Orange County, Florida. And Ron DeSantis like, screw you, Disney, you woke bastards. And then they just took it over, only to discover that Disney's board of directors for the Reddy Creek Improvement District had, at a public meeting, discussed and voted on change of language in the rights to the property that basically gives Disney the ability to do whatever they want, and Florida can't say anything until the last descendant of King Charles III dies. So 21 years after the last descendant of King Charles III dies. Which is hilarious. So Ron DeSantis has taken on the tax burden and still is not allowed to tell Disney what to do. Just absolutely beautiful, hilarious. Suck it, Kenny's little gopher. I love it. Monkey's trying to distract me, but I'm going to remember. I'm going to turn it off right now. Off. Ha! Daytime off. Everything's off. And I've got elbow pads to prove it. Okay. I got this awesome flannel shirt at a thrift store in Timmins, Ontario. I love this shirt. It's warm. It's got fancy designs on it, and it's got elbow pads. And it's very Canadian. It looks like almost like a fleece jacket at this point. Okay. The bullet swaps may have expired today. I have no idea what the ramifications of that are. Here we sit. There you go. All right. What's on everyone else's mind today? Ekelaji. Houston. So are we going to have a run? I'm so sick of waiting for AMC and Jimmy to run. I think so. I think there's a run coming. I am curious to see what goes on tomorrow and Friday, because I think those bullet swaps expiring are going to be really hard for UBS/Credit Suisse to push on to another swap that someone will take on. Because I don't know if anybody wants that liability, even if it's for a short duration, and be like, why would I take your crap? And if those swaps have expired and they got to go out and start covering positions, then prices will go up as they have to buy. And they've been warning for years that they've got a giant liability of naked short positions they got to do something about. And in this market, there's no liquidity. No one has the extra ability to take on burdens. So maybe in a day or two, Marge comes calling and they got to do something about it. So maybe a little spicy next week. Bed Bath & Beyond apparently is doing their earnings on the 15th. Seems really early, but things to look forward to. I'm sure the earnings are going to be like, we're losing money like crazy. Our stock is worthless. We're going to try and save ourselves. And the only way they can save themselves is to bow down and beg for Ryan Cohen to come in and literally save them. And, do you know what I forgot to do? Saying it on C-SPAN's name there because I just put it into my chart here. We got to do a raffle because yesterday was Charity Tuesday. Everyone who donated with their regular names got entered in. Every dollar counts as an entry, and then anyone who donated anonymous, we are putting into Rosa to win a T-shirt. My Fish Wears a Mattress T-shirt, which actually I can HWAP. Okay, so I've been updating the products on the Houston We Have a Problem storefront, and we've got Houston We Have a Problem T-shirt, Houston We Have a Problem mug, Houston We Have a Problem water bottle. My Fish Wears a Mattress hat says My Fish Wears a Mattress, I think, and then My Fish Wears a Mattress sweatshirt, and My Fish Wears a Mattress T-shirt. So on the front of both the sweatshirt and T-shirt says, "What does your fish wear?" And on the back it says, "My fish wears a mattress," and maybe something about vinegar. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, this T-shirt here is what the raffle is all about. So all the anonymous entries are counting as Rosa entries. So Rosa does have the most entries. She's at 295 entries total for everyone. And I had to use Google spreadsheets because my Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, I tried to put my second name in there and it's not responding. So screw you, Microsoft, and your crappy program that I pay for. I'm going to close the program. No one cares about you. Okay. So I got to copy all these. Copy. And then I got to go to random name picker. Enter our names in here. We're going to hit Control V and paste them all. Where are the names? Where are the names? Oh, it did hold like 1,000 empty spots. So let's delete 1,000 empty spots here. Sorry, one sec. It's faster if I go like this. Don't want an empty name to get in there. That's not fair for anybody. So delete. Okay. It's got Two Wheel Freedom, PG, Darren Saunders, I'm Not Your Friend, BFH Rosa with just a boatload. Come on, move. We got Rosa, so many. Josh Pep Palace, Tennessee, Vera Nocum, SJ, got a whole bunch. Jeff Christman's got a whole bunch. George, John Caesar Shadem, we got everybody in. Everybody's in here. All 1,000 and whatever entries. So now that everyone's in here, we go. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? It's gonna be Rosa. Well, she had the most entries, so Rosa is probably asleep right now. But I'm gonna get her T-shirt size, and we're gonna get her My Fish Wears a Mattress T-shirt that she can wear wherever she likes throughout the Tampa Bay area. She has no idea what's coming her way because I don't think she's seen this show for a few days. Cool. Rosa wins. Finally, somebody who had the most entries was a winner this time. I still need to get Leo B his poster. I did get the poster up on page. Let's go back here. I got a poster. I'm trying to make a puzzle as well of this poster of the tales of weird strangeness. So you got all sorts of different sizes of poster that you can use, whatever. So it's available. So I get it. They say there's a way for me to get like test products from them. I have no idea how. And then I can get them at cost or something. So I'm still figuring that out. So once I figure it out, then everyone gets their stuff. Anyway, thank you for donating yesterday. We donated, we were at like $1,200 last time I checked for Mental Health America. And, as we all know, it should be crazy. So we try to make things as helpful as we can for those in society who need it. And mental health care is a big need in the United States of America. So there we go. Woo! Congrats to Rosa. Yay. Okay. And on C-SPAN, now that I saw your name and we go back to what we're talking about, Did you see the Howard Schultz testimony? What a schmuck. F most billionaires, particularly the majority with no humility. Love you, H-Dog. I mean, Howard Schultz has been known to be a schmuck in Seattle for a long time because he bought the Sonics, was terrible at running the Sonics, and then people were like, Howard Schultz, you're terrible at running the Sonics. So then he sold it for $300 million to a bunch of oilmen from Oklahoma who promised not to take the Sonics to Oklahoma. And then they took the Sonics to Oklahoma, and now the team's worth $4 billion. So he's not well liked in Seattle. What I thought was funny at his hearing was he said something to the effect of, I grew up in public housing on welfare. You know, no one helped me. Really? You grew up in public housing. The taxpayers paid for your housing and then fed you and made sure you were clothed, but no one helped you. You had no help whatsoever. You did it all on your own, even though your entire life is dependent upon the welfare and generosity of others. But you did it on your own, right? Yes, that makes sense. That makes total sense. You did it on your own, except for all of it. That's how it works, man. Come from the humble beginnings of society raising me and paying for everything, but I did it on my own. 223E, have you heard anything about MMTLP? No. Not a thing. Not a dip darn doodle. Nothing. So aside from Finra sending out their second frequently asked questions where they deleted a whole bunch of stuff and added a whole bunch of other stuff. Tony Twits had a great tweet yesterday showing like what was deleted and what was added in context. It's pretty brilliant. But no, haven't heard anything. Well, we may not hear for another month or so until the court finally like spits out something like, we acknowledge you exist, and then they go back to not doing anything. That's probably be my guess. Oh, Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. I went to the worst zoo in the world. All they had was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu. My mom had a Shih Tzu for a long time. Babe. Yeah, I call him the piece of Shih Tzu. He was disgusting. This tiny little, looked like William Murderface from Metalocalypse. He was this tiny little dude, underbite, the ears, and he had all sorts of tummy issues, so he'd like barf constantly. So you give him a bath, you clean him, he'd be like this brilliant white clean dog, and then he'd like and then clean himself with his barf mouth, and then within minutes he would just be this gray, smelly, gross, evil little thing. Personality wise, he was, I think, quite possibly the worst dog I've ever encountered in my entire life. And man, did he live for a long time. He passed away about a week into having monkey butt. So monkey butt met him. She was like, what is this? And then he passed away. And she was like, I don't care anymore. My mom was very sad, but the rest of us were like, I've never met a worse dog. So, yeah. I mean, I never thought I'd meet a dog where I was like, I don't like you as a person, but you exist. I did take him on an adventure once to go stake a claim in Nevada because I had to watch him for a week while my mom was in New Jersey and visiting family. And so he got to drive to Nevada for me. I did a 12-hour drive to Nevada, staked a claim, 12-hour drive back. And he was like, what is going on? And he really hates donkeys. He wanted to go kill a donkey. And I was like, I was almost going to let him because that would have just been the end of it. Donkey would have been like, smash. But thought of my mom. I was like, I cannot let this dog get squished by a donkey while I'm watching him. He made it back home. Okay. Nico Daru. Happy birthday, buddy. Can you give me a few recommendations I can give my dad and his girlfriend to go check out while in Maui? Thanks. I've been to Maui. I was there for like 10 days many years ago, 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Go to Garden Sushi, my friend Asa's restaurant. It's delicious. He is a sushi master. He used to be the chef at Nobu on Lanai. And before that, he had a restaurant here on the island called Shima, which is the best sushi I've ever had in America. It was delicious. So you go to Garden Sushi in Kihei. Go into the West Maui Mountains. They're beautiful. Do the drive. Get your rental car. Do the drive around the entire island. You're going to be on some like crappy dirt roads with like cliffs falling into the ocean on the south side of the island. And your rental car company will tell you not to do it, but do it anyway. It's beautiful. What else? sit on the beach. If you're there in the winter, like borderline into now, if the humpback whales are still there doing their mating thing, go whale watching. And what's really cool is on some of the beaches out in Maui, they have like little buoys and stuff set up for maybe boats coming in. Is you can swim out to the buoy and then pull yourself down the buoy, and you get down maybe 10, 15, 20 feet down the buoy and just sit there for a minute, hold your breath, and you can hear all the whales. That was really cool. On Sundays at Little Beach are all the naked hippies playing drums. The second largest penis I've ever seen in my entire life was at that beach. That guy just stood there, like twisting his hips and going thwack, 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 thwack. And I swear to God, he had like calluses on his thighs from every Sunday, just thwacking that thing back and forth. A lot of naked hippies. Some of them are good. Some of them should be naked. Like, wow, you're impressive naked. Most of them should not be, but it's an experience. They're beating drums and being naked. It's on Sundays. What else? Things to do on Maui. I'm sure there's like horseback riding. You can go up to the observatories in Haleakala. They got the giant laser up there, the one that shoots the moon to figure out how far away the moon is drifting every year. The Pan-STARRS telescope is up there as well. That's the one my friend Eric in Switzerland programmed and finds all the asteroids that are going to kill us. That's probably a good start. I mean, most of the time you're going to be at the beach, right? That's the thing to do. Is you go to the beach. I don't know, go zip line through the jungle or something. Do the other touristy things. But go to the beach, get a tan, surf Jaws, do stuff like that. Okay, Kelly Reed, top of the evening to you. Doesn't it feel like we are Ryan Gosling in the bathroom scene of The Big Short saying, "I'm jacked," holding a once-in-a-lifetime golden ticket? Oh, I'm in it. I mean, it's, I've been saying it so long that I just want it to happen already. All the signs point to implosion, and it just needs to implode. Just implode already. Just do it. Collapse. UBS got rid of their CEO today because the board was like, "Why'd you take on all this garbage from Citibank or from Credit Suisse?" And the CEO was like, "They told me to," and now they're screwed with all that liability. Laptron, I dislike Disney more than I dislike DeSantis, but it's like a double negative that means that both should just cancel each other out. I mean, Disney's a giant corporation that's totally evil, but, you know, it was funny. DeSantis assuming that he can, like, out-lawyer the slime balls that Disney can hire is just hubris at its extreme. Like, he just never considered that they were smarter than him. And it's funny. Someone pointed out that like every tall ride at Disneyland and Disney World maxes out at 199 feet because at 200 feet you have to put a light on it according to the FAA. So like their lawyers are very good at what they do. They really nitpick. Carl Alit, how can AMC squeeze with all the limit up abuse? What? I don't know if it will squeeze at this point. It may see some price action if, in fact, someone like Amazon is trying to buy them. But the act of them buying them would not cause a squeeze. It'd be just like Twitter. There would be an agreed upon share price that the board would say, yes, you can buy us at that share price, which would probably be higher than what the share is currently trading for. Like trading at $5, you might say $10 a share. So then everyone gets $10 a share or something. And then the shorts would just pay a payment in lieu of $10 and they'd be out of it. That's it. There'd be no squeeze, no forced buying. It would just be a payment in lieu. Everyone gets $10 for their share and done. It's a best case scenario for the shorts for sure. AMC agreeing to a buyout saves the shorts hundreds of billions of dollars. they want that. They would be like, okay, well, at least it'll be over. It would cost us maybe twice what we paid or short of these stocks at, but at least we're not paying hundreds of dollars a share, thousands of dollars a share, and so on. Black Udon, good morning. Hiking Yakushima Island. I don't know. Where are you? Yaku. Whoa, wrong screen for the Google Earth. We need to be over on this screen. Okay. Yakushima Island. Bam. 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 Ah, you're on this island. Looks like looks like good hiking. It's got some civilization along the edges and not much on the interior. Well, this is cool. How tall are you? How high up are you? 5,000 feet? 5,600? Seems to be the... Got a little bit of a tree line up here. That's kind of cool. What a cool island. What you doing? You're hiking. What else is there to do? It looks like there's a couple of river systems that come off of here. There's estuary. There's a big port. Looks like a bunch of ferries that go out all over the place. Look like ferries go all over the place here. Shopping centers. Huh. Got 2 bridges across that sucker. 3rd bridge over here. Got at least looks like a high school there. That monolith. Takanagawa monolith. Okay, got a monolith. I've never heard of this island. Got a little wharf here too in their estuary. No ferries come out of here though. What little towns we got here? This looks like a lost coast all along here. World Heritage listed coastal road. Oh, there is a road here. Do not see one. Huh. Must be a foot road. Ancient road. And here, what do we got? Got a little town? Another little town. They do not... Oh, they got a little wharf in their estuary. They got a nice beach there. It's a good looking beach. Japanese do not enjoy the beaches enough. That's for sure. They got some great beaches and some awesome surf, and they just don't go. Oh, they got all sorts of ferries out of this one, too. So they got... Well, they have a ferry that goes back and forth between these two towns. All right. Cool. Yakushima Island. Well, Black Udon, have fun. Looks like a blast. Mo ass for your ass. Hey Houston, what do cows read the most? Cattle logs. Oh shit. Jason Blackwell, you're like a poison that's spreading. What does a spy do when he's cold? He goes undercover. Oh my god. Little did we know that the writers of Last of Us watch this show. Get all our puns out of here. KYP DeSantis, oh my gosh, that man's nuts. He is. And he's not going to win the nomination. Hey Houston, happy birthday. Do you really think hedge funds can cover using the dark pool? No, they can't. People ask this question all the time. Can they cover using the dark pool? No, because they're going to need our shares at the price we list them for. And I mean, they might buy them through the dark pool, but they're going to buy them at a ridiculous price from us through the dark pool then. But they need our shares. They need our shares like 10 times over in order to close out what they've created. So no, they can't do any covering with the dark pool. Did you just make a squeaky noise, dog? BOFH, do you think the market is being propped up so institutions can exit and dump bags on retail? Or is it pure ego and not wanting to face reality at this point? Both? Like, no one wants to admit they're an idiot. I don't, you don't, no one wants to be like, well, that was dumb. They want to save face, and they will prolong it as long as possible. So think about like the CEO of UBS, getting kicked out, right? If and when UBS collapses, he's not there anymore. He's like, that's on you. I'm out. He may have left them just a steaming pile of dog shit, but he's gone. It's on whoever is taking over. I wouldn't doubt if we start seeing some highfalutin C-level execs at various financial institutions start looking at the books and going, it's a good time to spend more time with my family. Taking on roles as like, the chancellor of a college or just retiring in general. You might start seeing some of those happening as the rats flee the ship here. But they will dump on retail as much as they can. You will start to see the Jim Cramer types basically pointing out that, hey, it's a great time. Prices are low. Get in on the market. It's fantastic. You see the little dead cat bounce happen, and then everything just comes crashing down and leaves everyone holding the bags. At this point, the big trigger it seems everyone's going to point the blame on is going to be commercial real estate. There's 20% vacancy across the whole of the United States. Major cities are at like 30% vacancies. Mortgages are not getting paid. 20% of rents are not getting paid. So there's going to be a lot of comeuppance that comes out of commercial real estate. And those bonds represent a large portion of holdings for pension funds, hedge funds, banks, sovereign wealth funds. A lot of those are going to get hit really hard when that stuff, collapses, which is going to do it. And we're seeing credit default swaps getting purchased at record numbers because everyone realized that, you can make a lot of money off of those when the economy's about to crash. They learned that in 2008. So buy up. So any free cash right now that's out there is buying credit default swaps, getting puts on things. It's the prepping for the crash of this market is happening. That's for sure. And the news is talking about it now. For so long, the news wouldn't even mention it. You might see a blurb in an obscure, industry paper. But now it's, Fox Business Channel, NBC News. They're just all talking about it. And the mainstream is finally, letting everyone know it's going to happen. They're ready for it. Justin G, Brazil and China trade agreement. What does this mean? Oh, yeah. So Brazil and China agreed to trade using their own currencies back and forth. A lot of people are like, this is the death of the dollar. Not really, because the Chinese yuan is artificially pegged to the US dollar. And the US dollar is China's largest import. So using the yuan as an international currency is the same thing as using the dollar, but with extra steps. Right? Like China has printed more of their currency than even the US has recently. But they've artificially pegged the value of that currency to the US dollar. So whatever the US dollar does, the Chinese yuan goes with it. And they're going to pretend like it's going to be a international reserve currency, but really it's just a dollar. So like the French just agreed to buy liquid natural gas, do liquid natural gas deals with China using the Chinese currency. But this is how it's going to go. The French are going to be like, it's $12.67 per 1,000 cubic feet. What's that in Chinese yuan? That's how it's going to go. And then they're going to get the Chinese yuan and they're going to convert it back into dollars or euros because that's the currency that they can actually use. And granted, you can buy lots of things from China, but the minute China tries to invade Taiwan, the currency is done because people will stop buying anything from China. And if like China is wholly dependent upon U.S. investors buying bonds from China in U.S. dollars so that China can build their infrastructure and everything, and that is a third of their entire economy outside of their industrialized production of things, China's gonna have a real problem on their hands if they don't pay back those bonds. Their currency, while maybe artificially pegged to the U.S. dollar, if they don't pay their debts, their currency is going to be 100% worthless. So especially if they try to invade Taiwan. Invading Taiwan will be the dumbest thing the Chinese government could possibly do. And especially for a population that in 30 years is going to be half of what it is now. They're aging. They're not having babies. They're having brain drain problems. They got a lot of things they're going to work out in the future. Whereas the United States, like, well, no, we might not be making babies. We'll still take lots of immigrants in. And we'll keep our population growing via the immigration. Cities still fill up with people. There's still demand. The real estate prices still go up over time. But if half your population in China is gone in 30 years, then investing in real estate is a terrible long-term investment. Okay. Tangents. Bex. Hey, Houston. Hope your birthday was awesome. What are the chances of less well-known shorted stocks popping off sooner, like Koss? And was B-Big shorted down, or do they just suck in general? Koss is such a small float, but the price has been down for a little while. Not crazy down, but it's been down from where it was. But they did pop to $121 in January 21. That was insane. They don't have an options chain attached to them because their float's so small. But I do think they're in the same basket as the XRT basket or whatever that like GME and AMC and those have been in. They've been shorted. I bet they've been shorted multiple times their float because we've seen volumes of like 14 million shares a day trade, and there's like 2 million available. As far as B-Big is concerned, I think B-Big sucks. I think they had their opportunity to be awesome. They took too long. They took 8 months longer to do their awesome Cryptide thing. And then when they did it, it was a dud. And then the insiders were suing each other and stock got halted. And I was pretty sure everyone at B-Big sucks. I'm not holding my breath. The shares I have, I think, are toast. The Cryptide's trading like 7 cents now when it was supposed to be a $10 stock. That's what they are. Just a Season 54. Ron DeSantis got his ass kicked. Got his ass clapped by the mouse. Okay. G-Font. Hey, bud. Acme is frustrating to hold. At these prices, why isn't ownership buying more? I wish I had some more insight. I don't know. I think what they're waiting for is their quarter one earnings, where they're going to show that, like, revenue is up 4,000% or whatever because they had the huge security deal. I think that's what they're looking for. Lord Jameson, Houston. Who is Morton and why do they have so much salt? I don't know who Morton is. That's a good question. What's the Wikipedia? Morton Salt Wikipedia. Learn me something. Morton Salt. American food company producing salt, food, water conditioning, industrial, agricultural, road, highway use, based in Chicago. This is North America's leading producer and marketer of salt, as a subsidiary of a holding company, Stone Canyon Industries Holdings. Okay, so its originator was Richmond and Company, 1848. It was renamed in 1889 by Joy Morton. As a small sales agency, Richmond and Company started by Alonzo Richmond as agents of Onondaga Salt Companies to sell their salt in the Midwest. In 1910, the business, which had that time become both a manufacturer and merchant of salt, was incorporated as the Morton Salt Company in 1889. It was renamed after the owner, Joy Morton, the son of J. Sterling Morton, who founded Arbor Day. Really? Joy Morton started working for E.I. Wheeler in 1880, buying into the company for $10,000, with which he bought a fleet of lake boats to move salt west. In 1969, the name Morton Norwich came into use. Okay. So they are currently based in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, you can head to the River Point building and swing by the Morton Salt International Headquarters. and same headquarters as Boeing. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Packaging facilities in Canada, U.S., and the Bahamas. They don't seem very interesting. Seemed like they just started selling salt and then they became the biggest salt seller. So there you go. Cool. Their entire Wikipedia article is like 4 paragraphs. They sell salt. And they mine salt. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's the Morton Salt Company. Brandon T. Hi, Houston. It seems big banks can't afford to have any realized losses on their books as it could erode confidence and cause a run. Is it likely they are purposefully not margin calling hedge funds? Brandon T., I think you are exactly right. I think they're scared to margin call a hedge fund. And if they do margin call a hedge fund, I think they're scared to liquidate that hedge fund if they fail to answer their margin call. So what we're stuck with is a bunch of banks terrified of doing their job because the lack of regulation on how much they lend to these hedge funds has resulted in them lending too much to these hedge funds. And now these hedge funds are going to doom us all. Like if you've lent out, I don't know, $5 trillion to hedge funds to make a bunch of bets, and all those bets are trash, then what do you do next, right? Not only the hedge fund's trash, but now their collateral's trash. Because their collateral is made up of mortgage-backed securities, commercial mortgage-backed securities, long fixed-rate corporate bonds, like stuff that no one wants. So if you do have to liquidate them and sell, it's worthless, right? And then the holdings the banks have, probably a lot of those are worthless too. It may take someone from the U.S. government to go, well, you're going to have to cease to exist, and then just starting the party that way. I don't know if the banks can actually do it. I think they'll just pretend like nothing's happening for as long as possible, and then the whole system just collapses in on itself or something. Becomes a singularity, and we have a black hole economy. Michael O'Hara, how about sell a shirt that says "Suck it, DeSantis" in your store? Maybe with like Mickey Mouse smoking a cigar. Eric Antill, I missed why Disney destroyed Big Ron. So Ron DeSantis passed the Don't Say Gay bill, which basically is just destroying public schooling across all of Florida, from the elementary level through the colleges. Graduating from Florida is going to result in having to like go to school again just to actually learn things from K to 12. So Disney was like, yeah, we don't like that very much. We are going to say that what you're doing is wrong. And Ron DeSantis was like, how dare you, Disney? You know, your special district that you have for Disney World. Well, you don't have control over it anymore. We're going to take it over. Disney's like, that's a dumb idea because we have billions of dollars in bonds that we're responsible for. And if you take this over, you're now responsible for it. And the tax base is going to have to pay billions of dollars. That's a really dumb idea. And DeSantis like, screw you, Disney. We're doing it anyway. So then Disney was like, all right, have it your way. And they made it so that, yes, Florida is going to take on the responsibility of the Reddy Creek district. And, but Disney has all the power, meaning Disney can do whatever they want and not have to pay taxes, not have to worry about zoning or building codes, not have to like submit things to design. They can just mow down trees and build wherever they want. And Florida taxpayers have to pay for it. So Disney before was paying for the, water treatment, sewage, road maintenance, fire stations, the whole works, schools. And now Florida has to pay for all that stuff. And they don't get to tell Disney what to do. So Disney has the benefit of having control of the entire district without having any of the financial responsibility, because DeSantis was too dumb to make sure they didn't do that. So, well, Disney pulled one over. Eric and Till, Ron's doing the right thing. No, he's not. Ron is Ken Griffin's lapdog, and all he's doing is like really fascist crap, and he does it really badly. BOH, Control-Shift-End will highlight everything between your cursor and the end of the document. Okay, Control-Shift-End. Noted. I just right-click, and do that. Michael Hero, Rosa wins a t-shirt, not the lawsuit yet. Rosa can wear it to the Magic Kingdom. Yeah, there you go. Ronnie E92, Houston, seems more like countries are now deciding to ditch the dollar, with France and Brazil settling trades in yuan, but I think the USA will allow this transition of reserve currency to occur. Again, it's just using the US dollar as a reserve currency with extra steps. Folks are saying, oh, but China's gold-backed. No, they're not. They're not gold-backed. They are artificially pegged to the US dollar. You can buy gold with it, but you're buying that gold at the US dollar prices. So everything China is doing is like a facade. Because they're not a true fiat currency, their value is artificially set by the Chinese government. Chinese government says, today, the yuan is 7 to every US dollar, and it will remain that way until we say otherwise. Meanwhile, they print and print and print and print and print, and it does not affect their currency because they're artificially changing it. So what the US government could do, if the US government really wanted to, is they could say, okay, we're going to artificially peg the US dollar to the Chinese yuan. And it's going to be 6 Chinese yuan to the US dollar. And that is the value it will be forever. And we can print as much as we want to and not have any after effects. And we could just screw them over that way. So, you know, the tit for tat can happen. I tweeted the other day, like, if the U.S. government wanted to destroy Saudi Arabia, all we have to do is nationalize ExxonMobil and sell oil for $10 a barrel. And Saudi Arabia would just overnight. This is largely because the U.S. government doesn't have a national oil company. And what we do have, essentially some of the largest oil fields in the entire world, and especially in shale oils. We've got trillions of barrels in shale oil. And that when energy rights come up for auction, these private companies bid on it, and they get it for pennies, and then we tax them on it for pennies. And the U.S. taxpayer doesn't really see any benefit out of all the resources that sit on federal lands. If we really wanted to, and during COVID, we probably should have, if we had different president office, probably could have, is, you know, ExxonMobil, their market value from like 500 billion to like 30 billion overnight when oil prices went negative. And they're begging, oh, please give us some handouts, give us billions of dollars in handouts. And we ended up giving them billions of dollars in handouts when we should have just bought their entire company. Should have bought ExxonMobil for $30 billion. And been like, yep, it's now a national company. U.S. government owns it. No more bidding on contracts for oil. We just drill where we own. Do it like Norway. Do it like Saudi Arabia. Do it like Venezuela. These national oil companies all do their thing because it's on national land. So they can get it at cost now and not have to worry about bidding and paying royalties and all that stuff. And you could pump as much as you want. You can drop the price as low as you want, because if you don't need to make a profit because you're trying to just screw over someone else, you can do that. So just like how we can do that with oil if we wanted to, we're not going to, but we could if we wanted to. We can kind of do that with the Chinese yuan as well. They artificially peg it to ours. We artificially peg it to theirs. So we can make an arbitrage market that would just fuck with the Chinese yuan. They say it's worth 7 to 1. We say it's worth 6 to 1. Oh, arbitrage. Woo! You know, I can buy it for 6 and sell it for 7. What? Yeah. So we can just screw them over really badly if we want to. Hoshi Gaming. Did I win? Boki no Kachi Desuka. You did not win, Hoshi Gaming. Sorry. Travel sessions, travel music videos. Whoa. A lot of travel in there. Between changing the frequently asked questions and the backdated delete, shouldn't that be enough to show the judge that Finra will manipulate evidence? Yes, I think so. I think there's more than enough to show that Finra will manipulate and falsify evidence all day long, give answers out of both sides of their mouth, and are liars. So there you go. Bex, now I want to hear the story of the largest penis you've ever seen. What am I thinking? Of course, it's your own. No, I am overwhelmingly average. Sorry to disappoint everybody. The largest schlong I ever saw in my life was at another nude beach, Kahana, which is on the Big Island. It's a black beach, black sand beach, and really dirty hippies go there. And I got dragged there not knowing where I was going. People were like, oh, we're going to go to the beach. Like, sure, got in the car, and then was taken to a naked beach. There was a dude, a black guy, who was on his side, like, his leg up, he's leaned, and draped over his thigh and into the sand. I mean, this thing was like 20 inches long. Over his thigh into the sand, like a snuffleupagus snout, was this dude's schlong. And it was the biggest thing I've ever seen on a human being. Like, I can imagine it like clapping him in the knee when he walks. It was insane. I did not know things like that could exist on the human anatomy. I mean, I've been lots of places on the internet. I've never seen anything like that before. This one made Monkey sit up and notice. That thing was just like a salmon. It was huge and terrifying. But everyone on that beach, even though all these hippies try to pretend like, oh, it's just naked freedom, all of them were like, when they walk by that dude. Right, Monkey? What do you need? What do you need? Come here. You want to go in your blanket, but you gotta get off your blanket to go into your blanket. Or you could just be on your blanket again. Okay. She's figured it out. That's what she wants. All right. They're out there. And I'm sure there's others out there too that have just like fire hoses dangling off of them. Absolutely insane. Okay. TKK, good morning from Denmark. Good morning. Let's talk about penises. Nikodaru, thanks. They're going to have a Jeep while there. They mentioned about checking out the nudie beach. Jeep is good because a Jeep can get you on top of Haleakala. And there's a couple of 4x4 beaches. I didn't have a 4x4 while I was there, so I didn't really get to go to those beaches. But I've heard there's a couple of 4x4 beaches. Big waves are on the north. The calm beaches, while the snorkeling are like the west side. And the weather's better on the west side too. Yeah. So, have a good time there. Peace Attack, when were you in Timmins? Last time I was in Timmins was like a decade ago. My family has land up there that we've been trying to do something with, but it's still in my great-grandfather's name, and he died in 1906. And we don't really know how to get it into anyone else's name in our family. So we've been trying to figure that out. It has a lot of copper, gold, silver, nickel on it. But we really can't do anything about that until we can get it into someone's name and make like a family trust or something. So I went up there to go do some geological work and see what it was like. And then discovered what a pain in the ass Canadian real estate law is. And we've been kind of stymied ever since. Oh, there goes the reset. Okay. POFH is accidentally deleting his comments. There we go. Okay. Ron Johnson, I want to thank you for recommending The Expanse. Happy birthday. It's a good show, man. It's a good show. Truth Seeker, China putting pressure on Putin to de-escalate. Yeah. Because Putin's begging them for weapons, and they can't be like, we're not going to send you any weapons, Putin. Because that would really hurt the whole BRICS thing they got going on. But China does not want to give Russia weapons because China does not want to see Chinese weapons getting absolutely just eviscerated by 40-year-old NATO technology. They cannot afford to have that image out there because they need to rattle their sabers to scare Taiwan. But they know Taiwan has even more modern stuff and a lot of it. and they got enough HIMARS sitting in the mountains to wipe out basically the entire Chinese fleet. So they need to be able to saber rattle. They don't actually want to do anything about it, and they don't want to test their weapons against this 40-year-old NATO technology because they know it's just going to get shredded. So they need Russia to calm down, pull out, and give up, just so that, because the diplomatic brouhaha that will happen when China says, Putin, you aren't getting any of our weapons, is going to just break apart the whole facade they got going on. The trash man. Amazon buying AMC, good or bad? Neutral. I mean, it's good for Amazon. They need theaters, especially if they're going to move their Amazon Studios MGM stuff into theaters. But it won't do anything for the squeeze. It will do zero for the squeeze. Juan Pena, do you believe AMC will ever again be over $20? If it is, it would be after April 27th, when whatever that ruling is comes out for the lawsuit about them selling too many shares to Antera. And it'll be momentarily, because it will probably be in the lead up to the 10-to-1, which would result in a $200 shares. If it hits $20, then it's $200 a share after that 10-to-1 reverse split. And then AMC would just sell like crazy, drive their own price down, pay off their debts. If it gets to $200, they can sell, not very many shares and then pay off. Hey, monkey. No licking. Don't like that. But at this point, I doubt it. I doubt it gets to the point where they've got $200 a share from the reverse split. It'd be wonderful if it is, but they sold too many to hedge funds, and the hedge funds can really dictate the price from that point forward. They'll have a very large stake in the company, and then if they do get offered the shares, they'll buy them up, and then they can short from 200 on the way down and be super happy about that. Truth Seeker, nothing happened. It was Options Trap. I think it was. I mean, they did the rumors in November about Amazon buying. They did the rumors last summer about Disney buying. Each time, people were like, "Oh," and went up $1, and then everyone bought a bunch of options, and then nothing happened. Mount St. Funk, Ron DeSantis. Oh boy. A friend of mine had dinner with him at a business function recently, and new Florida business owners. He's a bit strange from what I'm told. Yeah. He's one of those guys that, demands respect, but never earns it. You know what I mean? Like, I had baseball coaches and stuff growing up. They're like, "You will listen to me." And you're like, but you don't have anything to say. And "I demand respect." Like, okay, well, do something to earn it, maybe? Because, just being scared of you isn't really respect. Fear and respect are not the same thing. And I think Ron has a hard time with that. And then you find out that Ron DeSantis was the lawyer who allowed all the waterboarding to happen of detainees. And you're like, oh, he's that guy. Huh, okay. And was there for the torture of lots of detainees over time. And some of whom were detainees who were later found to be innocent or picked up wrong because, I don't know if you guys heard, they basically said everyone with a Casio watch in Afghanistan was obviously a member of Al-Qaeda, which just happens to be the only watch people could afford to buy in a place like Afghanistan. So if you had a Casio watch on, they would arrest you and send you to Guantanamo as if you were a member of Al-Qaeda or the Taliban or whatever. And it was just oftentimes just some random dude trying to live his life and grow, fruit and harvest wheat and have some goats. And they're like, oh, Al-Qaeda. And it's the same type of watch Al-Qaeda guys have. And then they just ship him off to Guantanamo, where Ron DeSantis, as a JAG officer, would give the okay to waterboard information out of him. And just does not seem like a good dude. I mean, bought and paid for by Ken Griffin. I don't care what your politics are, if you're right or left. Anyone who's bought and paid for by Ken Griffin should be suspect. J. Corn on the Cob is no longer a markets crash, it's a derivatives crash. Yeah, derivatives will go first. That's for sure. Traveling session, travel and travel music videos. DeSantis running for president on Florida taxpayer dollars. Yes. And Florida has a law that says you can't announce you're running for president unless you quit your current elected position. And it sounds like they're trying to get a bill through to allow DeSantis to remain governor while he runs for president, which defeats the entire purpose of having that law. I'm okay with laws like that. Like, I think if you're going to try and seek a higher office, you should be like, look, I'm not going to be able to do my job here anymore, which you elected me to do. I'm going to have to run full time for this other office, because if I run for this other office, I'm not going to be doing my job here, which is what happens every single time somebody runs for higher office. So I have no problem with laws like that. It's reset again. It just resets constantly. Okay. Greggy T, can Bitcoin be the world's currency? I see more countries have adopted BTC as a currency. Should we be scared? I don't think Bitcoin can be the world's currency for a couple of reasons. One, it's not very convenient type of currency in that, for a couple of reasons. For one, a lot of nations don't have easily accessible internet. Right? Looking at a good third of the world has no internet. So how are they going to like trade digital currencies back and forth? Right? You go to rural places in Africa, etc. Like, they don't have electricity. They don't have internet. Bitcoin's not going to be king there. Two, there's only 21 million Bitcoin and there's 8 billion humans. So the ability for a human being to have one Bitcoin is essentially almost mathematically impossible beyond rich people having like whole Bitcoins, which means the prices of things are going to be just stupid. Like, I want to buy this can of Coca-Cola. I'm going to pay you 0.00000432619417 Bitcoin for my can of Coca-Cola. Thank you so much. And then one of you forgot to carry a 1 or something, and then all of a sudden you just spent like $100 on a can of Coca-Cola when you didn't mean to. It's not a very convenient mathematical system to use as an everyday currency, especially since the currency is going to be constantly having to convert between fiat dollars and the Bitcoin, which the value is ascribed to in dollars. So when you're buying your beer at a restaurant and it's a $6 beer, they're going to have to do a currency calculator and figure out how much that is in Bitcoin, because our brains understand $6. Our brains don't understand 0.00. Let's look it up right now. Let's go US dollar to BTC converter. Here we go. Okay. So a $6 beer is 0.0021 Bitcoin. All right. So 0.0021 Bitcoin. Your server at the restaurant has to enter this into their little thing and then take your boop from your phone. They accidentally make it 0.0021 and it's now a 60-cent beer. You just got to scream and deal, and the server gets fired by the boss later. Or they accidentally charge you $60 for a beer because they didn't put enough zeros in there. If anything, we know from human beings that human beings, oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing here because there's a map in the way. Oh, God damn it. Okay. Human beings are not good with numbers. We're terrible. Anyone who's worked in a restaurant and seen someone try to calculate the tip, just can't do it. My rule was, I will, if the math doesn't work out, I will punch into the computer whatever benefits me, because I'm not going to reward bad math. Right? Someone's like, okay, they put $10 and it ends up being $200 or something, and they just did the math wrong because they're silly. I'm just going to punch in with a computer whatever benefits me, because I'm not going to trust whatever they're trying to say. I'm not going to reward bad math. But, all it takes is one wrong zero punched in, and, and you're doing hundreds of transactions a day, you want to buy a stick of gum, right? Oh, okay, you're going to give me 0.000087 Bitcoin. That's that stick of gum. I'm going to write all those zeros on the sticker, put it in the impulse aisle at the grocery store checkout, and no, they aren't going to do that. Fractionalized numbers like that. Humans are notoriously bad with fractions. That's why we don't really go beyond 2 decimal places. Right? It's just a piss poor system. And then to try and have 8 billion people all using that when there's only 21 million Bitcoin, the Bitcoin is going to end up being worth, $100 million. And then all of a sudden your fractionalization, you're going to be like, okay, this particular stick of gum is 4 times 10 to the negative 14, right? That's going to use scientific notation to do this stuff. It's just not convenient. And then you have the other end of the spectrum, you got like the shit coins where they produce 100 quadrillion of them. and there's just so many that it will never be anything except for some fractional, huge, long chain of decimal numbers. Those are the 2 big problems with Bitcoin. And then on top of the fact that it's a speculative security and not actually currency, and that the only ways it's useful for people is paying for crime, money laundering, and speculation. It's just not going to be adopted in any serious manner. El Salvador has adopted it. People, the guy who has the ice cream cart has to take it, and he's like, I hate this. I'd rather have some US dollars, man. I can do things with that. I can't do shit with this Bitcoin. It's a pain in the ass. Anytime I want to convert it into dollars, they charge me a huge fee. I hate it. And like the people at the businesses in El Salvador, A, they don't like using it. B, they don't like the crypto bros who head down there and bug them all day long. They really hate, they'd rather have just regular tourists than a bunch of crypto bros. Okay. Neil Nice. Parental Rights Act, schools should be teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, not leftist propaganda. But it's not really leftist propaganda if you're just teaching that people exist. Right? Like teaching the story of Ruby Bridges being the first little girl to integrate a school in Arkansas is not leftist propaganda, that's history. And teaching that like your grandparents who are alive today were real assholes to Ruby Bridges is not propaganda, that's history. Like, don't be assholes to people. We want to teach the history about them being assholes to people. Black people existing is not propaganda. Gay people existing is not propaganda. Trans people existing is not propaganda. That's just teaching them that they exist, that they are members of a society and they have rights, privileges, and dignity like everybody else. That's not propaganda. That's just the state of being. So, being scared of teaching your kids that other people exist is not really, I don't think really falls under the purview of responsible parenting. To me, that is trying to shield your children from finding out that you're an asshole. That's what it sounds like to me. So, no, like, you can teach them to read, but what are they going to read? Your church bulletin, and that's it? Or are they going to read, like, excellent novels about, people overcoming the odds or fantastical thought experiments? It's really just sort of like, if you don't have anything interesting for them to read, then what's the point in teaching them to read, right? They're just going to read how to do the assembly manual on the cog machine giant assembly line they're going to work in later, or are they going to be like thought leaders and have actual conversations with people? If you can't learn about the intricacies of history, the good and the bad, the friends and the foes, then what's the point of learning history? What's the point of learning anything? And if you can't teach people where math came from, because some of that math came from, cultures that aren't just some old white guy, right? Like algebra is a Arabic word. The numbers we use are Arabic numerals, right? If if in my math class, I'm teaching you the history of how math came to be to help them understand it better, and someone goes, "You're talking too much about these Muslim people. I don't like that." And then Ron DeSantis comes down and like fires me from my job for teaching how math came to be. Then what good is your like Parental Rights Act? Parents are not experts in pedagogy. They don't know how to teach things. Most parents are fucking stupid because most people are stupid. Most people are mostly stupid. That's why you leave the expertise of teaching kids to the experts and not to some dumbass parent who is raising kids poorly to begin with, right? We can agree that most people are kind of crappy parents. Monkey. Such as me, who's trying to keep Monkey from licking her coyote wound on her hoo-ha. Don't lick that. You just don't lick that. But I don't have much faith in most people. Most people are kind of dumb. I mean, the average IQ is 100, and 100 is not that smart, which means half the population is below that, which is just kind of dumb. And I don't want them telling teacher like, "Well, you're all woke, teaching about Civil Rights Act. I don't like that." And then all of a sudden they get fired from their job, which what happened today. That at Eastern Florida University, a class on civil rights, a student felt uncomfortable and got the teacher fired because the teacher was teaching about civil rights. You know, we have to create useful members of society, and if we're creating the dumbest, most ignorant, hateful members of society, then we aren't doing a good job as members of society. We aren't doing our job. So no, I don't think parents should have that much of a say in what their kids learn in school. I think the experts should be like, these are the things we have to learn, these orders we have to learn them in. These are things important to make a well-rounded individual. This is what we need to produce as an adult in the future. And we need to do it in spite of a bunch of ignorant, knuckle-dragging parents who are trying to bring their own biases into this and their own propaganda and their own indoctrination. Because what the Parental Rights Act is doing is not indoctrinating kids. It's like, oh, we can't indoctrinate kids in wokeness. It's going to indoctrinate them in hate. That's what it's going to do. It's going to create little brown shirts who are dumb as shit, and they're going to go around and do all the little Nazi things that Ron DeSantis wants them to do. And that is the entire point of that act, is going to distill our public schools into the worst public schools we could possibly make them and produce the worst possible people we can. And that's the point. They don't want to indoctrinate them in like people exist and have rights and dignity. They want to indoctrinate them in the others should be killed and we should be right for doing it. They don't want you to learn about how grandma threw rocks at Ruby Bridges because, grandma should be ashamed of that. But they're going to tell you about, what a Captain Hero Ron DeSantis is and how he saved the world with King Griffin's money. That's our future. Florida will have the worst schools in the country, which is impressive because the schools in Louisiana and South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi are pretty terrible. But man, the race to the bottom of Florida has been sincere. Personally, I think the NCAA should stop scheduling sporting events with Florida public colleges. They just shouldn't. They'd be like, you know what? We can't honor this. So Florida football, done. Florida basketball, done. Florida baseball, done. Florida every NCAA sport, you don't get to play colleges anymore. And the people of Florida will change in a hurry. We have a public school district, South Kitsap School District near me, and they're pretty terrible. But they've got amazing sports programs. They produced lots of people for the NFL, Major League Baseball, etc. And they cannot pass a school bond to save their lives because people there just won't. And so they have to go, all right, we're going to cut the football program unless we pass a school bond. 90% of people finally vote to pass the school bond, and they can save the schools that way because all they care about is sports. They're a bunch of knuckle-dragging idiots. And that parental control, that type of parental control is what destroys our schools, man. Just have the experts do it. They're experts for a reason. Since the year 206, Terry Yonkers posted a video of MMTLP investor calling their brokerage to complain about AST rejecting their transfer after they've been charged $25 to send their shares, most likely synthetics. That's happened. We had some instances back in February where AST had to cancel the transfer because they were being sent warrants and not the actual shares. And no one could understand where the warrants came from because only the issuer can make warrants. But it seems like the brokerages were printing warrants somehow. I don't know. It's weird. Hoshi Gaming, what do you get when you put noodles in a hot tub? Spaghetti. Oh, damn it. Since you're 2-6, I watch this show so much, I already know how you still answer things. People keep asking the same questions, so I gotta answer them over and over again. Okay. Total Eternity 8. Houston can't Finra due to GME what they did to MMTLP. Not necessarily. Because if I mean, yeah, they have to go like, oh, we're going to turn off trading. Things are going to get bad. But GME has millions of investors. And those millions of investors are in the news. And it's a Fortune 500 company that's in the news. And I don't think the last time they screwed around by turning off the buy button, it resulted in weeks of hearings in Congress. So I don't think they can risk that this time around. If they like just go, oh, it's worthless, we can't do it anymore. For a company that's profitable and about to offer dividends would be a really, really, really stupid mistake. It would put the spotlight on them in a way they can't afford. Because the spotlight on them right now with MMTLP is unnerving enough, and the number of MMTLP investors is puny in comparison. So, I think I don't think they have the balls to do that, because I don't think they would survive if they did. Ron Johnson, any ghost towns near Vegas, near the highway from Vegas to LA? Driving out there Sunday. There are. You have to go off the beaten path a bit. Let's pull up the old Google Earth here. And let's go. Okay, click on that. Turn on the Google Earth. There we go. Let's go across the ocean. Go up to Merca. And I don't have all of them listed, but I got a lot of them. So, bam. Here we go. There's some ghost towns for you. Okay. So you're going from LA to Vegas. Okay. We got Needles, Topak, Nelson. All right, Vegas up here. We got Silver Lake, Ivanpah, Sizzix, Lava Tubes, Vanderbilt, California, Old Timbers of Heart Mine, Dwelling, Baghdad Cafe out here, Siberia, Baghdad, Amboy, Chambliss, Essex, Giant Rock, Belleville. There's also Randsburg, Boron, Randsburg, Goldtown, Reefer City, Tropico, Scouts Cove. There's a lot of them out here. Sizzix is pretty cool because that was once a cult. It's on this weird little salt lake here. There's a cult, and now there's like some research station or something that's out here now. But it's like hot springs and weird stuff. But yeah, there's a weird sex cult that was Sizzix. Got Silver Lake is another one. Ivanpah. There's all sorts like in and around Death Valley. So up here in Death Valley, Ashford Mill, Panamint City, Lila, Valley Wells, Riley, California. So if you want to like bounce back and forth 50 or 60 miles across the highway between LA and Vegas, you will find a lot. And then there's a bunch in Nevada too. Some of them are taken over by like wildlife refuges and bombing ranges, so you can't really get to a lot of them. But there's a lot. Rhyolite's a really cool one. It's well preserved up here. And Rhyolite, it's right off the main highway. It's outside of Beatty. Lots of preserved buildings there. It's pretty cool. But it's really touristy. It's a paved road that goes right to it, so there's lots of tourists there. Man, there's a lot of them. As you can see, I haven't been to all of these. I've been to a lot of them. I want to make a definitive sort of encyclopedia of ghost towns. But man, there's a lot of them out here. Yeah, it's all gold country. Just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of gold towns and silver towns and stuff out here. Eagle Mountain was the one I talked about the other day. That was the old Alcoa steel iron mine that I want to make a railroad bicycle and ride all the way into Fontana on the old abandoned railway. I think Monkey Boy would have a fun time doing that. She would love to run that way. That'd be so much fun, wouldn't it, Monkey? Piece of plywood, some bicycle wheels, cooler, and go. So yeah, that's there's a lot. There is a lot. I'm turn that off before all the numbers of those pins freak me out. Okay. PG Sunday, Houston. If gun does not kill people, people do. Can we give forks to those people and watch them try to kill each other? Sure. Why not? Again, I'm, I don't think we can necessarily ban guns in America. Maybe we could ban certain types of guns because we did the assault rifle ban in '94 that seemed to work pretty well. But just train, register, license, insure, make a title for every gun, and steep penalties if that gun's stolen, or if you are in possession of an unregistered gun, or a gun that's not registered to you. That alone will reduce the number of weapons freely moving around, and creating things like, safe storage. So if someone has a gun sitting in their glove box or something, they can get in trouble for it. Safe storage. Just, if it's not on your person, then it must be stored in a safe or something. Those are the things that we need to do. And I'd be okay with the Minnesota multiphasic personality test being issued to people who want to own a gun, seeing just what type of person they are. If they're, schizophrenic, sociopath, psychopath, then no. Maybe we go, you know what? You would not qualify to be a member of the military. Therefore, you're not going to be able to be a larger member of the militia. And you don't get to have a gun because you just 4F'd out of here. Mount St. Funk, China doing to Putin what Putin did to Trump. Monkey see, monkey do. Yeah. I mean, international spy rings they do a lot. I mean, did you guys read the article on the Brazilian guy who was groomed to be a spy for Russia? So one of the things that Russia has been doing is they go to people in countries that are not related to Russia, and they say, okay, we're going to finance you to move to the United States. Like, sweet, I want to move to the United States. This is awesome. But you're going to spy for us while you're there. And they go, all right, whatever. And so they get people to come here. So this dude had come from Brazil, and he was spying for Russia. The problem is that we knew almost right away that he was spying for Russia. They didn't do a very good job covering the tracks. And so he's pretty much monitored from that point forward. But, there's probably others who made it through and we didn't realize we're doing that kind of work. International spy rings, man. I love myself some spy shows. Might be my favorite genre of show. Ali Papa, what do you think of Finra's second response, and why did they do that? I think the first frequently asked questions were not vetted by a lawyer. The second ones were. The lawyer went, do not do that. Take this out, add this in, fix this language. Which just, I don't know, rookie mistakes, I guess. And there's the reset again. Where are we? Okay. Excuse me. Lost Ways, I've not seen the Pick of Destiny yet. No. Someday I will. And when I do, I will make it the title of the show. Houston finally saw Pick of Destiny. So Lost Ways can be happy. SS Mano Johnson, DeSantis for 2024, that man's doing God's work. No, he's not. DeSantis is bought and paid for by Ken Griffin. If you are an ape and you hate Ken Griffin, the transitive property of mathematics means you should also hate Ron DeSantis. That's, if he's number 2 for Ken Griffin, then he is Citadel's candidate. He is who Citadel wants as president. And do you want Citadel to control the presidency? No. So then why on earth would you want Ron DeSantis for anything? Ron DeSantis is a hateful little barrel. he's awful. His policies are terrible. His personality is terrible. His brain is terrible. He's just a terrible, shitty human being. But you know what? Ken Griffin loves him. Lots of ways. Buy something at GME and raffle it out, bruh. That's also a good idea. We could do that too. Wonder what we could do. I'll figure out something. I'll find something. Raffle out some gift cards. Good idea. I like it. SS Minnow Johnson, he's earned my respect. Right policy decisions. So many people are moving out of blue states into Florida. Yeah, but like the people moving to Florida are like crypto bros and stuff. And when the whole crypto economy collapses, they're going to be leaving again. So, I mean, it's the crypto bubble that's happening in Florida. It used to be the land bubble in the 20s, and that crashed. It also wiped out my grandfather. And then it was the cocaine guys, and that crashed. And then it was the real estate bubble in 08, 09, and that crashed. It's going to happen again, and they're all going to move back to mom's house. That's what they do. Kenny G moved to Florida. He did. Waterboarding is not torture, just simulated. SS Minnow Johnson, if you want to come to Seattle, I'll have some of my friends who have done SEER school out here that work in special forces on the Navy bases. And if you want to volunteer, we will waterboard you live on the channel, and you can tell us if it's torture or not. My friend Ben would probably have a great time doing it because he's a little twisted, and he gets paid by the government to do those things. So if you want to come to Seattle, SS Minnow Johnson, we will waterboard you live on the show, and you can tell us if it's simulated or if it's torture or not. By all means, put your money where your mouth is, and we will waterboard you on the channel. All right. Just in my head. Even if Trump gets indicted for all 4 of his open cases, Stormy, Georgia, 1-6 docs, any chance we see a conviction before the presidential election? Oh no, it would take forever. My guess is he gets indicted now. Trial starts 2 years from now, right? I don't know if there's a way they could quickly get through it. Maybe a year if we're lucky, but Trump would do everything possible to stall. It'd be a long time before it ever gets trial. I mean, he might even live long enough to have it go to trial successfully. Okay. Tip calculator, 2 + 2 = spatula. Yeah. I love that word, spatula. My favorite word, spatula. SS Minnow Johnson, BDSM dungeons exist. Shall we teach our kids about this as well? I mean, why? I mean, they find out about it on the internet just fine. Like, BDSM dungeons are like not a type of person, right? It's more of a kink, and we don't really bother teaching kinks to kids in school. But like, gay people existing is a class of person, so them learning about gay people existing, I don't think harms them in any way. Trying to teach them sexual kinks is probably not the way to go, but here you're equating sexual kinks to people existing, and that's not really the same. That's not, a good analogy. That's the type of analogy that would cause you to fail the SATs. It's like you get these dudes who are like, we can't have gay marriage because then people will be marrying horses. No. Bestiality and being gay are 2 entirely separate things, and they're not the same. They're not equivalent. So, no. It's a false equivalency you got there. Devastator Omega. Anything I don't like hurts my feelings as woke or leftist propaganda, or as the rest of the sane world calls historical facts. It's pretty true. I mean, Ron DeSantis' own lawyers got their ass handed to them in court because the judge was like, define woke for me. And the lawyer's like, the recognition that there's systemic problems and the need to fix it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So are there not systemic issues that need to be fixed? Then if you're saying you're anti-woke, then you're like for continued systemic problems in the system. Peachy Sunday, at this point, it seems like let them just do their stupid things and watch how backwards those states become in the future. Yeah, but the other problem is that those people leave those states and end up in our states, right? Like, we got tons of military bases here, and we've got a whole bunch of stupid people from Florida that end up here. Just awful. When I first started teaching college, I was teaching the No Child Left Behind people, and it was absolutely awful. I had kids that couldn't read. They couldn't read. They had no idea how to read, and somehow they got into college because somebody wrote essays for them or something. And I'm in a math class, and I'm discovering like this person can't do word problems because they are functionally illiterate, right? You know, I thought it was bad enough they did their multiplication tables, but they literally can't read a word problem. If they can't read a word problem, what are you doing there? And I'd fail them out. And the college would be like, oh, why'd you fail this person? Like, because they can't read. And my job is to teach them math, not teach them how to read. I don't have enough time in my day to take them through 12 years of school and teach them how to read. They need to be in an adult remedial class, not in college. But, like, they need to graduate? I'm like, no, they don't. They need to go to an adult remedial class and learn how to read. And once they learn how to read, then they can start learning all the mathematics that lead up to a college algebra or calculus course. But until then, they cannot be in my class. You need to do your job and get them the remedial classes they need. If you want to pay me to teach remedial classes, I'll do it. But my time can't be spent teaching these No Child Left Behind failures the advanced mathematics. It's not what I'm there for. I need the ones who aren't damaged by this system, I got to focus on them. Otherwise, I'm spending all my time with these 4 students who are incompetent. And it's not no fault of their own. It's because they went to really terrible schools that were part of teaching to the test and not actually teaching them, you know, how to learn. And it was amazing. Within 7-8 years, my students coming in were no longer no Child Left Behind students, and they could read and they could do their multiplication tables. It was incredible. The difference those like 8 years made. It's like fund our schools. Don't make them do nothing but standardized tests all the time to try and earn more money for their schools. And if they fail the test, they get even less money, which means they're going to fail even more next time. It's the stupidest system we have. Just fund the schools. Pay the teachers a healthy amount of money to attract good teachers. Have a lot of teachers. That's how you do it. How do you think, you know, Finland went from 20% literacy rate to 100% literacy rate in the best schools in the entire world? They funded the schools. That's what they did. And now they've got the most competitive economy in the world. So fund the schools. As is Mel Johnson, it's important the parents decide the subjects and content kids are taught. After all, you're paying for it. No, it's important that experts in pedagogy decide the content and what kids are taught and how they're taught, because they're the experts. You don't go to your doctor's office, right? Like, oh, I got a lump in my throat. And you go to the doctor's office and he's like, it's cancer. You go, I don't like hearing that it's cancer, because cancer is a bad thing. And so therefore, because I'm paying for this, I refuse to acknowledge that it's cancer. And you're stupid for telling me it's cancer because you're all woke. That's basically what you're saying. Like you are trying to deny reality and create this weird bubble of a false reality in some sort of vain attempt to protect like your ego, I guess. It's got to be something like I can't be told that I'm wrong because it will destroy my ego. And that seems to be the entire basis behind this whole thing. Like, I don't like it that we learn that there's actually gay people who are involved in the civil rights movement. That's wrong. We can't learn that. Blah, 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 blah. But it's the truth, right? It's the truth. So why are you so hurt by the truth? That's what I don't get. Why are these parents so hurt by the truth? What is it about the truth that destroys the foundation of your ethos so much that you can't handle learning something that's outside of your expectations? It's just silly, man. It's silly. S.S. Mano Johnson, my teachers were obsessed with far-left bias. That's the issue. The focus was only on woke subjects without any other viewpoints. S.S. Mano Johnson, what are the other viewpoints you wanted to learn about? What other viewpoints could possibly you wanted to learn about? Let me guess. Was it the South should have won the Civil War? Was it possibly segregation was good? Plessy versus Ferguson was an awesome ruling. Was it maybe Hitler was right? Were those the other views that you wanted to learn? Those other subject views you wanted to learn there, S.S. Mano Johnson? Was it because the viewpoints you learned were black people are human beings and deserve all the rights and privileges afforded to them by citizenship as everybody else, and that slavery was wrong? And if you went, they're so woke, they're teaching me these woke things, why are they teaching me the other points of view? Slavery was awesome. Then I don't think the problem was the teachers, right? I don't think the problem was the teachers in your example. The left bias that you are assuming was history. Was the actuality of history. I don't think you really understand what the other side of what you would have been taught would have been, which would have been far-right propaganda telling you that the Jews were the problem in Germany and that black people are inhuman and therefore it was okay. God says it's okay to enslave them all. That seems to be the opposite side of what your left biased teachers were teaching you. I don't care how DeSantis saves the world as long as they do it. DeSantis isn't going to save the world. He's going to do Ken Griffin's bidding is exactly what he's going to do. He's doing this culture war crap right now to rile up the Republican base to hopefully become the nominee. And then when he gets into office, he's just going to do everything Ken Griffin tells him to do. Because Ken Griffin bought and paid for him. That's it. Yeah. Whisper, everyone knows homeschool kids are weird as fuck. They are. I've taught several homeschool kids. Some of them are very, they do their work. They do it very efficiently. They at a high level. Some of them not so much because their parents never finished high school themselves. And all of a sudden try and teach their kid high levels of mathematics didn't really work out very well. But all of them are socially stunted in a way that makes them almost useless to society. Like, they're so sheltered that they didn't know how to function among others. And it was just, they're weird. They are weird kids. And a lot of what the purpose of schooling, teach them reading, writing, arithmetic, history, music, art, all that stuff. But about half of it is socialization. And if you don't give these kids the opportunity to socialize at a young age and learn the ins and outs and intricacies of being part of a larger group, then when they're adults, it's impossible for them to actually become a member of society in like a close-knit ability. They're weird. They are weirdos. And a lot of times, people who homeschool their kids are weirdos too. So they just get steeped in this weirdness, and it's really hard for them to break out of it. Homeschool kids are weird. There's a reason why Germany outlawed homeschooling after World War II. They outlawed it. They said, you cannot homeschool your kids. You can send them to a private school, you can send them to a public school, but you cannot teach them at home. Because homeschooling produced weirdos. Absolute weirdos. And we've got this homeschooling group in Ohio right now that is run by the neo-Nazis. And they're producing all of the education materials that are based on neo-Nazism for all these homeschool parents in Ohio. That is one of the reasons why they outlawed it in Germany after World War II. Because you produce weirdos. Man. Just make our schools really good. Fund them. Get books in homes. Cherish education in this country. That's all you have to do. Maybe we'll have a few less F-22 fighters. I don't know. But just fund our schools. Just do that. Ooh, Augie, Houston, have you talked about Canadian crypto brokerages delisting US dollar Tether coin? Got an email earlier that they will no longer list. Is this forewarning for Tether's downfall? Yes. The crypto.com, maybe last month, Canadian crypto.com said we're no longer going to be doing US dollar Tether coin. You monkey. I could put the blanket on you if you're standing on the blanket. It can't happen. So I can, sorry. The dog's just staring at me, but she won't get off the blanket, so I can't put her on the blanket. So that's a problem she's going to have to figure out on her own there. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps, monkey. Figure it out. So for 2 years now, article after article after article is like, we can't find anything from Tether. Tether has no assets. Their bank account is empty. Blah, 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 blah. And then this week, an article comes out on CNBC. It's like, Tether announces they've got an extra $1.5 billion in their asset portfolio. I'm like, really? All of a sudden they have an asset portfolio? CNBC, do your job and ask them where the asset portfolio is, because the federal government can't find it. But CNBC just wrote an article taking their word for it when $80 billion is missing. When there's a run on the bank of crypto, Tether will be the first thing to implode, and it's going to bring everything else down, man. It'll bring everything else down. Everything else down. Yes. Okay. Everyone's saying monkey butt treat time. So, is it treat time? Yeah? Okay. Monkey butt treat, because she has to listen to me yell at my wall all day long. And... Okay. Come on, close. Get into the monkey mouth cam. Monkey mouth cam. Oh. Come here. Come on, get it. Get it. Oh, there it is. All right. Good dog. And now I can move your blanket, so that if you want to go under the blanket, it's there for you. It's ready. Cool. Problem solved. All right. Okay. There is. Where? Oh, crud. Nope. Sorry. Click and just let me scroll. Okay. Outman, Arizona is a cool ghost town. Wild donkeys rock down the street. Donkeys are hilarious. I love donkeys. They are the most hilarious ungulate in existence. Life is better when a donkey's around. I got a donkey that lives right across the forest from me, and listening to it yee-honk is one of my favorite things. When my hot tub was working, I loved to sit in the hot tub, and it would spool itself up. Like, it would sound like a rusty gate shutting, like, yee-honk, yee-honk. And I love that thing. And monkey would be like, what is that happening out there? Donkeys are great. Wild burros, they're the best. Javier, good evening. Houston, do you think the market, like the SPY and SPX, is being pumped to shake off the massive put interest? I think it's being pumped to shake off the massive collapse that's coming. We've got quantitative tightening and quantitative easing going at the same time, and they're going to clash, and it's just going to be a mess. Ben Simmons, he was spot on with Disney and vaccines. But Florida has among the highest death rates in the entire country when it came to COVID. So he wasn't spot on. And then he spent all of his time having those really crappy, publicly funded monoclonal antibody clinics that people couldn't get into, and then they were dying in line. And then the monoclonal antibodies didn't work when a new variant appeared, so it became completely useless. And then people died. So, no, he wasn't right about vaccines. And so far, he's been pretty wrong about Disney, because Disney is absolutely handing his ass to him. Space Ghost, Seattle folk driving cars by themselves and wear a mask with the window up 100%. No, they don't. This is Mill Johnson. Can I show my nips in the program? If you're going to get waterboarded, totally. You can show your nips all day long while you go and you tell us everything that we want to hear from you. I bet you my buddies will be able to get you to renounce Ron DeSantis in 30 seconds. They'll waterboard you, and you will be begging that Ron DeSantis doesn't run for president, and you'll be begging for it. Don Ferguson, I think you're very smart, which is why I listen to you. I feel you should be more thoughtful to those with different beliefs and values than you. Good way to lose viewers. Don, I don't care if I lose viewers. I don't care. I'm not going to entertain people who promote hate if all I want to hear is hate. And I'm not going to do it. Trying to create an audience based upon the lowest common denominator, I'm just going to end up being, that Tara chick who talked about AMC a whole bunch, and then now all she does is she plays the lowest common denominator and just spouts the stupidest crap on Twitter to get as many bot followers as she can. I'm not going to compromise my belief system or the knowledge I have to placate people who have basically terrible views. I'm not going to do that. So, I'm just not going to compromise belief system like that. I will hear the other side of their ideas, and then if they can point out to me flaws in my own, I'll take it. But they often can't, and most of the time their belief system is quite garbage. So, here's what I believe. If you're gay, of another race, ethnicity, religion, if you're trans, you're a human being who deserves rights and privileges afforded to them by the Constitution like everybody else. And I don't think being trans is bringing down society. I think it's just that they happen to be trans. I don't think being gay is bringing down society. I think it just happened to be gay. I don't think or ascribe to the phrenologists and the race baiters who want to believe that like black people are inherently inhuman or less than others. No, like that crap that's garbage, and I'm not going to entertain those ideas at all. And being like, whoa, you're so smart, but you really are dismissive of those people who have those feelings and those thoughts. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck racists. Fuck homophobes. Fuck transphobes. Fuck every last one of you. I don't care. Eat shit and die. Like, it's just, you having what are essentially Nazi beliefs and being upset that I'm calling out those Nazi beliefs, being like, oh, boo-hoo, you're not treating my beliefs as if they're good. Yeah, because they're not. They're garbage, dude. like, don't have garbage beliefs, and then I won't have to tell you of garbage beliefs. That's simple. Like, don't think Ron DeSantis is your guy if he's bought and paid for by Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin is a shitgibbon. He's a terrible human being whose entire goal is to screw you out of all the money you've ever had in your entire life and then dance on your grave. That's his goal. And now you are going to elect his candidate because his candidate happens to be a big homophobe and a racist like you? Cool. Awesome. Way to go. Way to be the shittiest human being you could possibly be in that respect. Like, I don't care about my life being good as long as you can make the lives of black people and gay people as terrible as possible. Take all my money, destroy my home, shit on my wife. That's basically where we are. So, no. The beliefs and values that you're trying to represent here, Don, is me like being dismissive about, are terrible, terrible beliefs and values that quite frankly, society should not entertain. The Confederacy lost the war, let it die. The Nazis lost the war, let it die. There you go. So, you're not going to be able to pop into my chat and explain how being a racist piece of crap is actually good. You're just not. It's not going to happen. It's like, what about being a racist, bigoted, homophobic jackass is a good thing? It's not. Oh, the kids. Oh my gosh, the kids might learn gay people exist. My next door neighbors when I was 2 years old were gay. Who cares? They were gay. So what? They lived their life. They lived in their house. They cooked food. They took dumps just like everybody else. They walked the dog. Like, they're human beings. They just happen to be sexually attracted to the same sex. Oh no, how will kids ever face that? But here's the hilarious thing. Here's something that anyone who's homophobic in the chat right now, watching the show, the 250 of you, I'm going to show you an article that is going to absolutely make you so angry. It's going to make you so angry. Okay, you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. I hope you're sitting down. Okay, so about 12 years ago, a large study was done where they took 100 straight identifying men who weren't homophobic and 100 straight identifying men who were homophobic. And they attached some electrodes to their ding-dongs and they had them watch gay porn. Never before have I seen a study like this that had such a distinct outcome. Of the 100 men who are straight identifying who were not homophobic, 0, and I'm talking 0 erections. Of the 100 men who were straight identifying and homophobic, 100 erections. Homophobic people love gay sex. They just don't want to admit it. They're so steeped in their own hatred and bigotry that their self-hate makes them project out and be the worst people they possibly could. Rather than living their truth and enjoying their lives and, I don't know, moving to San Francisco and opening up a cafe, they're going to spend their lives trying to pass laws, maligning and hurting people who are just like them, who are living their truth. And then they're going to get busted like playing footsie in an airport bathroom in Idaho. That's basically what's going to happen. Chris Ames Cunningham, yes, it was peer-reviewed. Absolutely peer-reviewed. This one, National Public Health. Is homophobia associated with being sexual arousal? This one was published in Abnormal Psychology in 1996. And then we had, this one was, that's the penile ophthalmology device. But basically, yeah, peer-reviewed. They studied the ding-dongs, they had them watch gay porn, and all the homophobes got erections. So what I'm saying is, live your truth. It's just a waste of time and energy and everything else. It makes society worse when you refuse to live your truth. Just live your truth. Live your truth. Be who you were meant to be. And you'll feel better. Society will feel better, right? You'll be happier. You won't be spending your days trying to make as many people miserable as possible because you're too scared to like actually go out and just tell another dude that you love him. That's what it comes down to. Like, all you want is love. You hate your wife because you're stuck married to a woman. You don't want to be married to a woman. You want to be married to a dude. And so you're going to be miserable to your wife. You're going to drink too much. You're going to do too much oxy or whatever. And you're going to be a terrible human being when all it comes down to is there was that boy you knew in 5th grade that you fell in love with and you couldn't do anything about because your dad kicked the crap out of you if you did anything about it. And so you carried that hatred inside of you for as long as you could in your life. And that's the reality you're in now. Now you're just a miserable bigot whose family hates him. Kids won't talk to him, right? Just live your truth, man. Live your truth. Look inside, see what does it for you, and be like, you know what? I actually like dudes. It's not that hard. Yeah, people in your church community might be like, oh, he's a faggot or whatever, and say horrible things about you. But in reality, you know what? You don't need them in your life. That's what lots and lots of folks all across the country discover, and why there's a brain drain out of small towns in America. Because there's a lot of people who don't want to be pigeonholed into that bigotry, and they go, you know what? Peace. I'm moving to the big city where there's thousands of people just like me who all left their tiny little crappy towns surrounded by, these weird church elders who are creepy as hell. And I'm going to live my truth. and they're happy, man. Just be happy. Live your truth. Do your thing. All right? Okay. All right. Ron Johnson been waterboarded in the military and effing sucked. Fort poked before it was known. Did you do SEER school, Ron? Like my friend Ben teaches it now. He like flies around the country and teaches it to special forces dudes and gets them certified. And you know, Ben will tell you firsthand he's like a broken dude, but so he gets through it. But okay, some beliefs and values aren't worth validating. Exactly. Yep. Face Coast guy really hates Ron DeSantis. I do. Ron DeSantis is a terrible human being. He's a pretty competent college baseball player. I'll give him that. But he's a terrible human being. Seattle is a way better governor. Seattle doesn't have a governor. They have a mayor. All right. Chris Ames Cunningham, crypto, the more you attack, the more exposure, therefore more adoption. Trump factor. Did that work for NFTs? Okay. Space Ghost, let me see my comments. You're wearing glasses. Space Ghost, your comments aren't really worth reading. They're kind of pathetic. Like, I can hear its vagina growing as we speak. Oh, great one, Space Ghost. There's the homophobia. Space Ghost, there's nothing wrong with you that sex with a man can't fix. That's what I'm saying. Is that deep down, that's what you actually want. And so you're lashing out at anyone who tries to tell you to live your truth. And, you know, just live your truth, dude. It's so much easier. So much easier. Just go get railed. You're going to love every second of it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been holding myself back from this my entire life. John B. My niece went to an expensive private school in LA. My sister noticed she was struggling with her homework in 8th grade. Had her independently tested and that she could not read. What the hell? Yeah. Private schools are not necessarily better schools. They're just private. and then sometimes you can just be paying them to move them forward. Right? I mean, you look at the stats, charter schools, which are like between private schools, they're publicly funded private schools, they perform worse than public schools. Like, yeah, there's a few outliers here and there that do really well, but for the most part, they're terrible. But they're a waste of money. Teachers get paid less. They cost more per student. The outcomes are worse. There's that one charter school in Chicago that was bragging about 100% of our graduates go on to college. That's because if any of the students in their school doesn't get accepted to a college, they kick them out. Therefore, they cannot be called a graduate from their school. So yeah, it's easy to get 100% of your students to graduate from your college or graduate from your high school when you don't let them graduate if they don't get into college. It's absolutely just, it's juking the stats, man. You ever watch The Wire? Juke the stats. That's what they're doing. Don Poulin, waterboard DeSantis and all his awful followers. Maybe it was one of those things where when you go through high school, everyone should get waterboarded once to know what it's like. And they go, oh, shit, we shouldn't do that to people. That's one of those things. But then again, we'll have the weirdos that are like, everyone should have to do it because everyone is behazed. And I don't know. Everything's fine here. Beliefs are killing me, Smalls. I enjoy listening to you. I don't agree with your politics, but I do respect that you're coming from. You sound like a good human, and I'm here for it. I mean, like, I have no problem with folks like, oh, small government, limited government. Let's reduce taxation. Those kind of I can deal with those beliefs. But if the beliefs are let's dehumanize large segments of the population because they make me feel uncomfortable, I can't get with that. It's just like, that's not cool. That's not cool in my book. Policy issues regarding, how governance happens, cool. Policy issues governing dehumanizing entire populations, not cool. SS Minnow Johnson, false dichotomy, also attacking the person, not the argument, is fallacy. But if the person is bought and paid for by your mortal enemy, then it's easy to point out the flaws in the person, right? Like, that is a matter of character. Like, if Ken Griffin were to offer me $1 gajillion right now to be the worst version of myself possibly can, I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to destroy my ethos because a terrible human being paid me a lot of money to do it. That's just not worth living. I'd rather be poor in a box somewhere, right? It's just not how that works. Now, if they want to pay me a fortune to not do a show, that's one thing. Yeah, I won't do a show. If you pay me enough money, cool, I'll go sit on a beach. But I'm not going to, all of a sudden be like, you know what? I got a lot of money, so I'm going to start dehumanizing people across the board and passing all the legislation I can to make their lives as miserable as possible. That's just not who I am, and I'm not going to do that. But Ron DeSantis will. Ron DeSantis will gladly do that. He'll gladly destroy the lives of everyone who's not white and not straight. That's what he does. So, Ron DeSantis is a piece of shit. Ben Simmons unsub solely based on the last 25 minutes. See you later, Ben Simmons. Bye, buddy. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Mr. Haystack, missed the stream. Any Acme news? No. Nothing from MMTLP. And on C-SPAN, damn, I wish we had more woke subjects in my 90s Florida's public school. Luckily, my parents didn't have their heads up their asses. So, there you go. He makes Jeb Bush look like a saint. Yeah. Liquid Hammer started watching the stream, and I know my comment will be late, but Houston, any kind of rumors like Amazon taking over AMC doesn't happen with GME. Am I wrong? I don't know anyone that could afford to take over GME. Their market value is really high, and the stock price is completely undervalued. So if they wanted to do it, they'd have to get a stock. They have to make an offer in the hundreds of dollars a share, and I don't think anyone can afford that right now. And I don't think even Amazon could afford that right now. And I don't think the board would agree to it. So you have to get the board to agree to it. And I don't think anyone at GME would, because we want to close those shorts and make it painful, not make it easy on them. Michael Mystery, do the waterboarding on Charity Tuesday. $3,000 target. Well, we got 3,909, I think, was our record for St. Jude's. So, yeah, we could do that. Non-C-SPAN, don't forget about funneling the vaccines to rich neighborhoods in Manatee County, Lakewood Ranch, and use good toddlers to build the wall of toy blocks. God, come on, quit clicking on that. Okay, sorry. Okay. Non-C-SPAN, this isn't a new topic of Houston's. This is the whole purpose of the show. Go watch episode 1. He spells it out. It's true. I put it in the mission statement right there. And it's with this question. Did we create society to make everyone's lives better? Or did we create society to maximize profit and drive revenue? And I believe in the former, not in the latter. I think we created society to make everyone's lives better. And if what we're focusing on is society make people's lives worse and drive profit and maximize revenue for the terrible people, then we're doing it wrong. We need to do more to make society as a whole, the lives of everyone, better. And Ron DeSantis is not doing that. He might make it better for a few white straight people, but if you aren't white and straight in Florida, your life is significantly worse as a result of his actions. And that is not the goal of society. That's the goal of a terrible human being. Oh gosh dang it, I keep clicking on that. Okay. All right, it's 11 o'clock. I've got pork ribs have been slow roasting in the oven. And I don't know if I generated a lot of comments in here. So at least some people really don't like Ron DeSantis in there. Okay, my alarm's about to go off for my pork ribs. I'm going to go get those and eat them. We haven't had a good rant in a while. You guys got me on one, that's for sure. Yeah, so, all right. Thank you for watching. If you unsubscribed from the show, I guess I'll see you later. If you didn't, hey, yay. Marius will be like, why'd your subscribers go down again? Well, because they got me ranting, and that's what I do. As I like to filter every once in a while those who watch the show. I'm not going to have Tara's audience, that's for sure. Those people are mostly bots, Russian trolls, or the worst human beings on the internet. So we're going to enjoy that. Monkey Butt, good job. Good job today on snack eating. I'll see you guys on Friday. Well, I'll see some of you on Friday anyway. Have a great night. Thanks for joining on this After Dark, and enjoy the next couple of days. Can't find people that it's cool to hold up at the end of the show, so I'll just be like,